back at Sha Tin this Sunday for a 10-race program. Both courses are in use and it's a normal start time of 1 o'clock, just over a week away from FWD Champions Day. But to preview the meeting this week, joined in the studio by Paul Lally and Tom Wood. And Tom, race number 10's got a lot of Derby form in it.
It certainly does, Mark. We've got Sword Point, who was probably a little bit unlucky in the Derby, lining up in that final race with the Sweet Encounter Beauty Verse, who has been a little disappointing since his win. But Straight Aaron ran pretty well, of course, in the Derby along the inside. So they're interesting against a few of the well-tried horses in that final race.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that race on the show. Also joined by Paul Lally. And Paul, you've got some breaking news for treble punters.
We have. We've got a really good new bet type that's coming up. So races 3, 4 and 5, we're going to have an early treble. So you're getting a good opportunity to have a bet on that as well. And then, of course, we've got our later treble. So that's a new initiative that's come through for the Jockey Club. We don't really get treble jackpots, do we? But we've got a couple of really good jackpots here. 1.7 million in the triple trio, 2.1 million in the six-up as well. And that's courtesy of a Saturday meeting.
OK, so we'll try and find you a winner along the way to help you out as part of the last treble on the show. But a scratching came through earlier on this Saturday. Race 8, number 4, Thesis is not running, and Dylan Moe is not riding. So we've got 4 riding changes. Race 3, number 12, Dashing Triumph is now Harry Bentley. Race 5, number 6, Sweet Diamond is Derek Long. Race 7, number 14, United Endeavours is Lyle Hewitson. And race 9, number 14, G-Liner, the new rider is Victor Wong. Now, the meeting details for this one on Sunday, they look this way. 10-race program. Meeting number 64. 6 on the turf rail in the extreme C+3, saving as much ground as possible for next week. And the others are on the all-weather. The 2 races we preview, races 9 and 10, the Class 3 1400 and the Class 2 over the 1800 metres. Race number 9 looks this way, though. Kimberley has his first start in Hong Kong. He was a 2-time winner in Brazil, both Group 1 events. Winner methods, place 4 from 14 course and distance. California Voce comes here out of the Joseph O'Brien stable. Solid Impact is place 3 from 5 course and distance. Run Buddy has a tongue tie on. Leslie, second look at 1400 for him. Indeed is a newcomer for John Size, raced in the UK by James Fanshawe. He was the trainer. Beauty Champ has the pacifiers coming off. Top T comes up in grade, and G-Liner, he runs over 1400 metres for the second time. He's win over 1600 metres at Cork. So on that, Tom, there's a lot of newcomers here. What does that do to the speed map? I guess not much with a horse like Run Buddy, even from a wide draw, having that good gate speed. Yeah,
he likes to go forward. He just had no luck with the barrier draws. He's come up with 11 again after winning at a barrier 14, 2 back, and running well out of the same draw last time out. Beauty Champ likely to push forward from barrier 2. Ariel should be handy from barrier 10. Top T could even be quite handy there. California Voce, a horse that sat just off the pace in his most recent barrier trial. The other one, Paul, Indeed, he's certainly shown some pace. He was an on-pace or near-pace runner over in the UK.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? He's just drawn 13 as well, so maybe he'd be one place further forward, but he might just have to work to get across. But he's had plenty of trials. He had 9 trials to get him ready. His Indeed. The other one, California Voce, he came out of a race in Nace, and there was 100,000 runners in that one down the straight, and he managed to be right on the pace in that as well.
That was on a yielding track. He also won over the 1444 metres at Roscommon. But our focus is going to be the horse trained by Frankie Law. Run Buddy is his name. He's had the 5 starts, yet to miss a place. And Nick spoke to his trainer. Indeed, it is Frankie Law.
Frankie Law, Run Buddy is your runner in race number 9 on Sunday. A horse who's racing very well for you. 2 weeks since his last performance. It was a good run.
Yes. As I say, last time he dropped in again. He still won good.
You've put a tongue tie on him now, Frankie. Interesting addition of gear for the horse. What brought you to that decision?
After last run, the jockey tell me he make a little bit noise, so he said maybe we try tongue tie for him. And I put tongue tie for a few days already. And last get up yesterday, he used the tongue tie. The jockey said he better. Yes, he better. Yeah.
You mentioned the draw. Obviously, poor horse has been dealt a cruel blow. He continues to get wide draws. He's an on-pace runner. I guess the fact he's got such good natural early speed will at least allow him to hopefully get out and get it, to the position he wants to be in.
Yeah, I think he got a big stripe. I think if he can just lead by himself, should be better. But anyway, sometimes you don't know inside draw the horse they will go fast or not. But anyway, I will ask Derek, try your best. If you can lead, just lead by himself.
He meets solid impact again in the race. He was second last time. Your horse was third. He's actually better at the weights with him now. So I guess that would fill you with confidence to turn that form around.
I think so, but the draw just a little bit better than last time. I think still okay, yeah.
From Frankie, we go to you, Paul, around that horse. I keep going to call him Run Buddy Run, but it's Run Buddy. That gate speed's going to get him a long way, isn't it?
It is. Look, we've seen him win from a wide gate before. New addition with a tongue tie going on him as well. I quite like him. I think if he can get to the front and dictate, he can win this race.
I think there might be a little bit more pressure for him this time around. Those are a few other runners, even Top T from Barrier 1, he's drawn well underneath him. He could certainly contest the lead if they wish to do that.
Gets in with a lightweight too, does a Top T. His Beauty Inspire now, Tom. He runs fifth in this race, and that was over the 1,200 metres. He has been tried between 1,200 and 1,600 since he's been here.
Yeah, and they're bringing back to 1,400 metres here, and he can pull hard, this horse. He does a bit wrong. I like the way he was making up ground here over the final stages last time. And he's had a trial since he was up on the pace. He was a little bit wide. You have to wonder sometimes if he's ridden a little bit colder, if that's better for him, but he's drawn barrier number 3, but obviously pulling a bit does worry me a little, Paul.
Yeah, it worries me a bit. He's going to come up short with Zach aboard. He's been in single figures all 4 starts here in Hong Kong as well, so I've included him, but not on a win line.
Here he is again, Paul. Now, this is 2 starts ago. He jumps here from barrier number 4. We're going to show the early stages of this race. It's a race where he gets the head up. He wants to pull early. He also gets in trouble at the 600-metre mark.
Yeah, he does. Look, I think, though, as Tom said, I'm pretty sure they're going to ride him quiet. Barrier 3, he'll get an economical run. I expect him to be 3 or 4 back on the inside. But as you can see, he just really resented being held back here. So, I mean, Zach will sum it up when they jump.
He's obviously one of those horses you just need to ride him as you find him. If he gives him a squeeze shortly after the start to try and take up a position, that's obviously going to maybe fire him up. So he still needs to learn about this horse.
And this is the last 150 metres of the race. The horse that won this was Ching, who's in really good form. And then he's had that 5th since. We've got a barrier trial coming up as well, Tom, for Beauty Inspire. He placed in this trial. It's won by Campione. There he is on the outside with Zach on board.
Yeah, and look, the trial was good. He was up on the pace in this trial, and I thought he relaxed fairly well in it. So he will come up short enough, I think, for a horse that's done a little bit wrong and still can, I think, probably do a bit wrong. But I'd be willing to take a chance with him here, Paul. He's at 2.9 currently. Just hopefully he settles in the run. That race we saw a moment ago, it had Alacrity, Powerful Wings, Havanagila. The form's worked out there.
Yeah, it was a good trial. He can see how he's 5th, 7th, 12th, 5th. I mean, I've got him sort of 3, 4 back on the inside, trying to get him to settle. So.
And where he's sort of, the point of this graphic was when he's been back, he's run his better races.
Yeah, then I thought they'd try and ride him a bit colder.
Yeah, the lead and fade to 12th there. Can't imagine he'll be being tried in front again this week. All right, some of the opposition include Top T. Tom coming up in grade lightweight. You mentioned he might be on the pace as he is turning for home here.
Yeah, things worked out well for him on Derby Day here over the 1,400 metres. He was a winner at Happy Valley early on in his career at about his 2nd start over Fortune Carry. He's got form behind Hoss, and then he's come out and beaten Rattan Kingdom here. Paul, who did get close and has won subsequently.
Yeah, he did win nicely, didn't he? The thing with the stable is they don't really normally put 2 together. I mean, when he did win that race, he ran a couple of okay races, but up in grade here on a last start win, it just worries me a bit.
We move on from Top T at Paul 2, California Voce. He's had the 5 trials since he's been here. It was a horse that had 5 starts overseas for 2 wins and a placing. If you like what you've seen from him.
I haven't minded it, actually. He's 1,071 pounds, so they put plenty of work into him to get him ready for this. He's drawn nicely in barrier number 6. Look, he'll be in the market, I think, on the back of his trials. And Tony Cruz can get a PP to win fresh up.
Yeah, we know that the PPs, however, don't have a great strike rate when they are here first up. But his trials have been good. He won at Nace last time out. He's had numerous trials. I thought there were 3 main chances in this, and then outside of that, it was pretty open. I'd give him a shot on this race.
All right, good push for California Voce. That was Mr. Ascendancy that finished alongside him in the trial. Speaking of trials, Tom, to Happy Valley we go. Sky Forever runs 3rd. Now, we haven't seen him since he was scratched at the barrier on the 24th of January. he has had 2 trials and he's worked on here.
Yeah, so it's been a wee while since he's raced. I quite like the way he finished off over the final stages. He is hard ridden here, but then once he got to the line, I thought he was under a nice enough hold. He's had 2 trials leading into this first up, Paul, for 121 days, but finished right behind them there.
Yeah, he wasn't far behind, was he? His win did come at Happy Valley. So, look, I'm happy just to watch him after that break.
And indeed, Paul, more trial form around him. As you mentioned, he's had the 9 of them. They've all been up at Chung Fa. He's led all of the way to win his last 2.
Yeah, look, they've been quite quiet trials that he's had, but he has won them nicely enough. Look, the thing that worries about me is barrier 13 with his pace underneath him. So he's 1,035 pounds, so I think he'll strip pretty fit coming into the race.
Yeah, and he's been trialling up quite well up at Chung Fa. They're led and won this easily. Yeah, where he sort of ends up in the run would be a concern, and his win did come over 1,200 metres at Newmarket, and they try him here first time, 1,400.
Luke Curry rides him for John Size. But after all of those replays and analysis, Paul, who are you with?
Got to go with Run Buddy. Look, he showed that he's up to Class 3 with that 3rd of his last start. Tongue tie goes on. He just needs to get across easy enough, and I think he can. So that's why I've gone with him. Solid Impact's been very consistent. Hugh Bowman knows the horse very well. California Voce on debut here, and Beauty Inspire. So went 6-4-3-5.
Yeah, this race here, I like number 5, and that is Beauty Inspire, who comes into this with Zach Purton off a good trial. If he can put everything together and not over race and do things right, I think he'll be tough to beat. Number 5, Beauty Inspire. Solid Impact's been consistent. Hugh Bowman and David Hall from barrier 8. Run Buddy has to go in. He'll put himself right in the contest. And outside of those 3, I thought it was pretty open. But off those trials, California Voce, the 3-year-old here for Tony Cruz, and Matthew Chadwick goes in for 4th. But 5, 4, 6 and 3.
That has been the preview for race number 9. We're going to take a break here. Race number 10 will come up on the other side of this. You're watching Racing to Win. Welcome back to Racing to Win. Just before we get on with the preview for race number 10, Hong Kong Direct this week. There's a host of international riders coming for FWD Champions Day. Nick catches up with Christian Demuro, who's here to ride Geraldina and Aguri. You can find Hong Kong Direct on the website, hkjc.com, and click on audio and video. Well, we need to focus on race number 10, the Wan Chai Gap Handicap over the 1,800 metres, and it is a Class 2 event. They line up this way with Butterfield at the top of the book. He's a 2-time course and distance winner. Savvy Nine's up in trip. Turin Red Sun has the blinkers off and the shadow roll going on. Spirited Express, a last start winner, carries an extra £4 for it. Bourbonnais, his win was on a yielding track. Sword Points out of the Derby. Sweet Encounters out of the Derby. Alacrity, winner last time, first time at 1,800 metres. And Beautyverse and Straight Aaron also come out of the Hong Kong Derby. Now the speed map for this race. Good field here, Tom. Alacrity won from way back in the field last time, and looking for him is unlikely to change tactics, you'd think.
Yeah, maybe there's not a lot of pace in this race because Champion Dragon goes forward. There's quite a few horses that do go back in this race. Looking Great can be handy. Bourbonnais there, more than likely to be handy with him from barrier 5. But Turin Red Sun, Paul, is there an opportunity for them to slot in? And what about Zach on Sweet Encounter? Because he's also a horse that has raced handy in the past.
Yeah, I wonder what the tactics are going to be with him from that wide draw. Just makes it a little bit tricky. I think he'll try and find some cover, Sweet Encounter. If he really wants to push on, he can. One thing you got to remember, the 1,800 metre start's probably the kindest start here in Hong Kong.
We go from the speed map to a horse that's won over the 1,800 metres. That was 2 starts ago. Nick with the trainer of Straight Aaron, Casper Fownes.
Casper Fownes, Straight Aaron is your runner in the last race on Sunday. It was an excellent run in the Derby.
Yeah, it was a really good run. Unfortunately, we were in the wrong spot, as it turned out. Yeah, he's pulled up well, and looking forward to the race on Sunday.
Just on obviously post-Derby, he has had a trial since then. Notably slow away from the gates. Is that just a little trait that he's shown?
No, not really. We'll forgive him that. We've been schooling him since then. He seems to be a lot better. Took him to the gates on Thursday yesterday, and he was good out. He jumped out nice and relaxed, and he is where we want him to be for the race coming up. Obviously, it's a strong race. There's a lot of quality horses in there. But I believe he's a horse with, he's going to get well into the triple figures.
Leads me on nicely to my next question. Obviously you haven't had him in your stable that long, so I imagine you're still just learning about him. But with all of that in mind and his run in the Derby itself, how far do you see a horse like this getting potentially?
Oh yeah, you know, I'd be confident to say he's going to get to 100, and then once they cross that mark, then it's you know, it becomes tough for them. But he's a horse that we don't know where his true rating is. He's just starting to put it all together. So Sunday will tell us a little bit going forward. But in my heart, I believe he's going to get to 100 plus.
And I guess with all of that in consideration, that form of his win 2 back, Natural Storm's come out and won again recently, so it's certainly all there, isn't it?
Yeah, the form is there. Yeah, obviously, the rain's around, so we don't know what that's going to be like on Sunday. But leading into the race, I'm happy with him. He looks a treat, and I'd be disappointed if he's not there in the finish.
Just a line on the form of your string at the moment, Casper. Obviously, they're in wonderful form. This place, Happy Valley, has almost become a second home for you. But you must be really pleased with the form that the horses are in.
Yeah, obviously, it's nice when horses are racing well. It's a tough system in Hong Kong with the handicap system, and you know you need things to go your way, and you need to get the right races and right rides to get the winning results. So you know it's nice when you start to get on a roll of winners, and long may it continue.
We go back to the Derby replay right now, Tom, and we heard Casper's thoughts on Straight Aaron. He's in this field, obviously turning for home with Sword Point, Sweet Encounter and Beauty Verse, who I keep forgetting to do the touchscreen for this last race. It's becoming a bit of a concern. We've got Straight Aaron, who's back in the field. Then we've got Sword Point. He's in the yellow colours, Sweet Encounter and also, of course, Beauty Verse.
Yeah, and you can see Straight Aaron back over on the inside there over the final with stages. He was 0.01, sort of the second quickest behind. I think it was Tuchel over the last 400 metres here for Straight Aaron. Sword Point, Paul, got a little bit keen in the early stages. There might have been an opportunity to maybe slide forward. They didn't opt to go for that, and I thought he might have finished a little closer here. His run was very good.
It was very good, yeah. Look, I think he can win this race, and look, they might ride him slightly different. I think he'll get into a similar position though to a point, and there should be more pace in this race.
Vincent Ho, Paul, 12 wins from his last 10 meetings, on target for his best season ever.
He's going well, isn't he, Vincent? And he's got the Golden 60 coming up next weekend. I think Rocket Spade's a place chance. Billionaire Secret's running okay. Inner Construction is consistent. Youthful Deal was the last start winner, so they're all chances. And then Straight Aaron in the last.
Yeah, Podium didn't go a bad race first up, and moves to 1,400 metres, where he did place over 1,400 metres in Australia prior to arriving.
All right, move on from Vincent Tom to Spirited Express, winning last time over the 1,600 metres. Bourbonnaire would be hoping the rain sticks around, looking great in the white jacket, and Turin Red Sun is back in the field. Now, Spirited Express steps up to the 1,800 for the second time here in Hong Kong. He did have some traffic problems at his first look at the distance.
Yeah, I thought the race was tailor-made for him here last time out. He was able to beat the favourite, who was amazing victory in the race, and I thought it was a really good performance from him. And I wouldn't discount him in this sort of lineup, Paul, because he does have a little bit of quality about him.
Yeah, and he does show he's up to Class 2 as well with this win. Look, as you say, though, he did have the race run to suit. I think this is going to be tougher.
Champion Dragon leads them for home here, Paul. He does like to go forward in his races. This was his first look at Class 2. Butterfield's up outside of him. He carries the big weight. Savvy 9 Soul winner's been at Happy Valley. There's Spirited Express again. Turin Red Sun again, looking great again. Can't have done much more in this grade, Paul. Champion Dragon, one start for this win.
Yeah, it was a nice win too from him. Look, I've got him in the numbers on a minor line because I think he'll get an uncontested lead, and if he does, then he can be a hard horse to get past.
He's had a little freshen up as well. He's nearly 50 days since this last start winning performance, and this is what they probably should have done with him 2 starts ago. They handed up the lead. He's a horse that needs to lead, and when he gets his own way, he's tough to run down, as we can see here.
And you won't miss him in the run, the flashy chestnut. Now we've got Alacrity. This was a big win. Tom, there he is back in the field. The roughy, young, brilliant leads for home here. He did a good job to run him down. Harder this week, though. He's in this race, I think, up to his neck, though, is Alacrity. He was wide down the side, and in the end, he won easily and put them away quite stylishly. And he had been building to this. He's acclimatised really quickly here, Paul. Even though he's up in grade, he's got only 121 to carry. I think he's a big player here.
Yeah, he definitely goes in for me, Alacrity. Look, he's got a really nice turn of foot, but he did have the race again run to suit because they ran some pretty quick sectionals early in that race.
Do you think Champion Dragon might do something similar for him time-wise here?
I don't think he will. If he's left alone, as he's got a bit older, he can relax.
Selections. Yeah,
going to go with Sword Point. Look, I think this horse has got plenty of quality about him. 1,800 looks ideal for him. Straight Aaron with a lightweight, Alacrity. So all these 3 younger horses coming through with Champion Dragon. 7, 12, 10 and 6.
Same trio or TS there as Paul. 7 on top for me. That is Sword Point. Liked his run in the Derby. Drawn well. Hugh Bowman rides. Straight Aaron Alacri. I'll throw in Sweden Counter. Didn't mind his trial. It was okay coming into this. Will need some luck though from barrier 12. 7, 12, 10, 9.
Races 9 and 10 have all been covered. However, Paul, there are another 8 races before the ones we previewed on the show. Give us some winners.
Look, Havant Aguila won really well on the all-weather. I think he can win on that surface again. Darcy Legend was really a bit unlucky last time. He's up in trip. I think he can run well. Dan Attack's a first starter who's trialled really well with Zach Purton aboard. Thunderbolt Taurus up to 1600. I think that's the right trip for him. I Give was good on the all-weather. Gummy Gummy was good on the all-weather. Galvanic's a winner waiting to happen as well. Midori Beauty trialled really well in his pretty recently.
And he has placed first up, has Midori Beauty in the past. Off that list, which one is the best?
To go with the one we've just previewed, Sword Point. I thought he can win the last race. It's a good race, but from barrier 4 we should get the perfect run. I think he can win. So race 10, number 7, Sword Point. And Darcy Legend, son of Darcy Brahma, up from 1200 to 1650. Was unlucky this last time. I think he'd be a decent price in race 2. We'll do the play in race 5, another weather race with everyone's victory. The best hero, and I Give QQP 2, 4 and 9 in race 5.
Go with the first starter in race 3. It's Dan Attack, who came through the international sale, was actually up for a tender, and they purchased him for a reasonable quote, and he's trialled well. Zach Purton and Jamie Richards combining there. Tornado Phantom, he's off a rating of 80. That was his last winning mark. John Size, Hugh Bowman, he's back on the all-weather, didn't run badly on the turf, and will take good buddy Midori Beauty Wonder Kit in race 8 at 1, 3 and 8.
Same combination as Tom. Jamie Richards and Zach Purton, race 7, number 7, Galvanic, finally draws the gate, so I think he can get the turnaround on Lost Child in the 7th of the day. The long shot race 2, number 7, High Cloud, second time on the all-weather. He did make some ground the first look at the surface, Harry Bentley and Douglas White. And the play race 7, 5 Lost Child, 7 Galvanic and 8 Divine Era in a QQP 5, 7 and 8. That has been Racing to Win, Tom, which will lead us into a huge week in Hong Kong for FWD Champions Day. It's been a huge 24 hours. Got some new jockeys joining us too.
Yeah, we do. We've got, of course, Brendan Abdullah joining us, and Alice Wong, who's part of the Jockey Club's Apprenticeship Academy. He's down in SA and South Australia, and he'll be making his way up here for the final few months.
Yeah, it's going to be a very busy week. A lot of visitors in town as well, which will try and keep us out late at night, and yeah, we'll see what happens there.
Trouble with that.
We will indeed, and that's coming up all next week. But Racing to Win, it kicks off the meeting at Sha Tin Sunday at 1 o'clock.